Hey, 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 it's your girl Talia, and I'm ready for you to invade my space. Welcome to Talia Space, y'all, where we're going to be talking about everything. You hear me? We're going to laugh, we're going to cry, and most of all, we're going to love on each other, y'all. Let's talk. What's up, my social media family? It's your girl, it's Talia. Welcome to Talia Space, everybody. Go ahead and go get your drinks, go get your beverages on the night, go get your Kool-Aid, go get your water, go get your wine, go get your tea, whatever it is, because y'all know how we do. We gonna talk down tonight, y'all. Okay? Okay. Y'all know it's already coming up. It's the holiday season. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone, to everybody's family. I hope you guys have already went to the store and got your food and all that. Y'all know how we like to do. Sometimes we like to do it at the last minute. That's me. But I hope you guys have already went and got your food items and start cooking and soaking that meat and all that good stuff. And I want to shout out to everyone who is celebrating this holiday and celebrating without a loved one. My prayers go out to you guys. It took me a while to start back celebrating holidays when my dad passed because he was the glue to our family, especially when it came to having family get-togethers. He was the glue. So shout out to everyone that is struggling during the holidays. I love you guys, and I'm praying for you guys, and you guys pray for me. But on this podcast, guess what, guys? It's number 10. I have gotten to 10. I'm going to tell you why that is so exciting for me. This is the 10th episode, so woo for me. I'm so excited. But yeah, this is the 10th episode. I didn't even really know what I wanted to talk about on this episode. I have so many things that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to go over with you guys. You guys are like my family. I feel like I can just vent to you guys, and you listen and you tell me your feedback, or if you're going through the same thing or whatever. But on this episode, like I said, there were so many things I wanted to talk about. There were two things that was stuck in my mind, but um, I chose to talk about generational curses. Okay. Um, and generational curses, for those who don't know, is something that has been passed down from generation to generation. It can be behavior, sicknesses, um, habits, whatever. It's been passed down from generation to generation. Okay. And why do I want to talk about generational curses? It's because I feel like it's so prevalent nowadays, and I feel like my generation and maybe the next generation don't know how to overcome generational curses. And here's why. Um, One of the things is we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about, well, you hear somebody say, well, that's the way my mom did it, or my mom was sick at this age, so I'm probably going to be sick too, or her daddy was a drug addict, so she'll probably be a drug addict too. You know, those are the type of things that I'm talking about when it comes to generational curses. And every family has a generational curse. Okay, mine may not be what yours is, and yours may not be what mine is, but everybody in everybody family, there's not one family I've seen that doesn't have a generational curse. Okay, it's is when we have the power to overcome those generational curses. And one thing that bothers me is that we don't talk about generational curses. You know what I'm saying? So some of us are going through things that we don't even know that our mother went through, or our father went through, or our grandparents went through it. We don't even know that. So we don't even know that we are battling with something that our parents did not overcome. Okay. So now we are battling with this same issue, because our parents didn't destroy it, and our parents didn't destroy it, and now we're struggling with it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, my mom always talk about how my dad had diabetes, and diabetes run heavily in my family, especially on my dad's side. My granddad had it. I think my grandmom. I've never met her, but I think my grandmom had it. All of my dad's siblings struggled with it. I think he only have one sibling left um, that hasn't died from diabetes. And so my mom always told us that when she saw how heavy that was in the family, in my dad's family, she said she spoke then over her children's life. She said, "This will run past my children. My children will not suffer with diabetes. That generational curse is broken off of my children." And I'm 38. My sister is 14 years older than me, and then my brother is older than me, and neither one of us um, has diabetes, not even borderline or anything. We've never had it. We don't deal with it, and it's because my mother broke that curse off of her children. Y'all can believe it, that it's not real or not, but it's definitely real, and it's definitely something that can be broken. Now, don't get me wrong. My mom did pray this off of her children, but don't get me wrong. All of us make sure that we eat right and we're living healthy lives because we know what's in our bloodline, but we don't claim what's in our bloodline. Okay, there's a difference. We don't claim to have diabetes. We don't claim that because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you have to be careful what you say, especially when it comes to generational curses, because that right there can come upon you so quickly within a blink of an eye. So you have to watch what you say. Even when you're talking to your children, watch what you say when you say, "Oh, you're just like your father," or "you just like your mother," especially if it's in a negative way. Okay? Because you're putting that generational curse off on your children. And that is something that they may not be able to handle or deal with. They may not be able to deal with that. So be careful saying those type of things because that is a curse. Life and death, blessings or curses. That is a curse that you have just spoken over your child's life. So be careful. We speak curses over our own lives. You know what I'm saying? My mama was this way, so that's why I'm that way. Or my mama didn't do this for me, so that's why I don't do it for my kids. It's a behavior. It's a pattern. I don't know how to love because my mama didn't know how to love. That's a generational curse. And some of us use our generational curses as excuses. Our children are missing out on what could be a loving parent because you are still stuck on what mama did. And then when you talk to mama, she says, "Well, my mama didn't do it." So now it's trickling down. And now your kids will be doing it to their kids because you did not break that generational curse. You are allowing that generational curse to continue, not only in your life, but in your children's life, and then in your children's children's life. It's time for us to start breaking these generational curses off of our lives. There's so many things in our families that can be attached to us. My daddy was an alcoholic. He drunk a lot. He'll tell you how much that he used to drink, and it was, I won't say he was an alcoholic. Let me stop that. He drunk a lot. Okay, I don't want to put that out there because he wasn't an alcoholic to where he was just completely drunk all the time, and it became an addiction or something like that, or stuff like that, because that's get into a whole nother thing. But he did drink a lot. Okay. So, and my dad used to tell us that they were known for running women. Him and his brothers, they were known for that. And so um, we could have easily took what my dad and his brothers did and brought that into our family and made that as an excuse to why we do the things that we do. Um, you have to be careful and mindful, because generational curses will literally kill you if you don't break them. You have the power to break every curse that is over your life. You have the power to speak life, or speak death and speak blessings or speak curses. You have that power. What you spit out there in the atmosphere will come back to you. I'm telling you. Why am I on this tonight? It's because I know my mom don't mind me sharing this, but my dad used to call my mom a jack of all trades, but a master of none. We're still talking about generational curses. And so when I was growing up and I used to hear him say that, I didn't understand um, what it actually meant. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand the concept. I thought it was a compliment until I got older and realized that, hey, this is not a compliment. He's saying that that she has a lot of talents and she can do a lot of things. She's a jack of all trades, so she know how to do a lot of stuff, but she never mastered any of them. None of them became productive for her. So I had to realize that that wasn't a compliment. And then I find myself doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I can do hair. I'm When it comes to fitness, I'm like at one of the top levels when it comes to being fit. Well, I was before being pregnant, but um, I can braid hair. I can do hair. I can cook. Um, I can sing. I can write. I can write music. I can write books. Um, there's so many things. I can dance. I can teach dance. I can choreograph and all that stuff. There are so many things that I can do, but I find myself not mastering any of them. I find myself that when I get into um, boredom, or I get into anxiety, or I'm feeling stressed or anything like that, whatever I'm doing, I completely stop. Or if I feel like it's not working, or if I feel like it's not being supported or something like that, I completely stop what I'm doing and go to the next thing. I never finish out a project. So that's why I'm so excited that I've reached a 10. Let me tell y'all how hard it's been. I've wanted to quit. I wanted to stop doing these podcasts. I wanted to stop um, doing posting and all that stuff. I wanted to quit. But every day I get up and I say, you know what? You're not going to quit. This is something that you're going to finish. And it's because I love, don't get me wrong, I love podcasting. I love it. I've always wanted to do it. It's been a couple of years that I've been saying that I wanted to do it. But it's me. I got into a phase where I would get into a slump and I'll just stop. I stopped doing everything. And I got that from my mom. My mom is a seamstress. She's licensed, or she was licensed to do hair. She's a minister. So am I. I forgot to name that. Um, she has wrote music. Um, she's done so many things. She's a great cook. She used to sell cakes. She used to have a business with pressing people's clothes. She brought her own presser because she used to work at a cleaners. Um, she does like these little craft things where she makes stuff, vase, vases and stuff for your house and stuff like that. Like she has so many talents, but she will quit quickly. She will stop doing whatever it is that she has started up. And I do the exact same thing. And it's a generational curse. So now I'm trying to break that curse. And I'm going to break it so that my girls won't won't go through the same thing. I don't want my girls to be inconsistent with anything that they're doing. I teach them. I'm teaching them now how to to be entrepreneurs and stuff that they like to do. I teach my daughters the things that I know how to do, so they can master it and do it, and they are. And I'm pushing them to complete what they're doing because I don't want to pass down the generational curse of being inconsistent. I don't want inconsistency to be something that they have to deal with. I don't want what comes with that to be something that they have to fight through. I don't want my anxiety and my depression to overflow and get upon my girls. There are so many things out here that um, that our children are already dealing with. What they don't need to deal with is our curses. That's something that they shouldn't have to deal with. They shouldn't have to deal with generational curses. So break those curses off of your life, just like my mom did with me and my sibling when it came to my dad. Break it now. You don't have to be an alcoholic because your daddy was. You don't have to be a whore because your mother was. You don't have to be a drug addict because that's what you saw your parents do. You don't have to be those things. You don't have to live in poverty because you never saw your mom and dad make over a buck. You don't have to do that. You and your children don't have to experience poverty. You can be the first millionaire in your family. You don't have to keep taking pills because you're depressed and anxiety and stuff like that. And your children's children will not have to take pills because they can't control their emotions, because you're going to stop and you're going to break that generational curse. That's not something that you're going to have to deal with. And that's not something that your children is going to have to deal with because you're going to break it. Those things that you went through, those things that your parents went through, you don't have to go through that. Your children don't have to go through that. Your grandchildren don't have to go through that because you're going to break the curse. We're not going into 2024 with these same curses attached to us. I wanted to give up. I didn't want to make another podcast. I didn't want to do anything else because I felt like I wasn't being heard. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to stop because I'm always inconsistent. And the one thing that the people around me, my closest friend and family told me, they said, do not give up. Do not stop this when you start, because they know that that's what I'm capable of. It doesn't matter how many gifts and talents that I have lying in my hands. If I don't complete it, the earth would not benefit from what God has given me. If you don't break that generational curse, the earth would not get to benefit from the gifts and the talents that you were born with, that God given you. There's a reason why we're all on this earth. There's a reason why God has given us all gifts that to put on this earth. That's why He's given it to us. He's given us these gifts and these talents so that people can experience them. But sometimes our generation of curses overpowers us. Not only that, generational curses is one thing, but we also be around people, hang around people, friends and stuff like that also attaches to us and attach their curses to us as well. So you're hanging with this person and they're saying, oh, I know she like that because that's what she do. Oh, I know he like that because that's what he does. And you couldn't, and it could be far from the truth, but because who you hang with, your character gets tainted. Now, they associate you with who you hang with. That's just like they associate you with who created you. When people see me, they say, that's Joe Willie's daughter. That's Jolene's daughter. They associate me with my parents because they know my parents' background. And that can be good and bad. You have to understand that you are not your parent. You're not your grandparent. You don't have to live with diabetes. You don't have to live with cancer. You don't have to live with sicknesses and diseases. You don't have to live with depression and anxiety. You don't have to live with poverty. You don't have to live with high blood pressure. You do not have to live with that. The power is in your mouth. Watch what you say. Watch what you spit out there into the atmosphere, because it comes back, and it comes back quickly. I'm telling you. I always tell my children, you will not be like me. I always tell them what I did and what my mom did and what my sister did, because I want them to see the pattern of behavior so they won't fall into that same footstep. I want them to know what my brothers did. I want them to know. Because I don't want this to be your portion. I want you to be able to raise your children differently without a generational curse hovering over you. You're dealing with generational curses, and then you got these friends that you're dealing with, and they're doing God knows what, and you hang around them, and sooner or later, your behavior starts to change into what they're doing, because sometimes you get weak. And it doesn't take but one time to get weak. And you start looking different. You start acting different. I want you guys to understand this, because we're going into 2024. And is there anything, because you know how we do when the New Year's come, if there's anything that you want to change about yourself, what I want you to do is go and list all the generational curses that you know run through your blood, and start breaking those generational curses off of you and off of your children. Because you don't have to live with it, and you don't have to die with it. I push myself every single day to get up and make sure that I turn this light on so y'all can see me, and that I turn this mic on so that y'all can hear me. And I make sure that it's plugged into whatever device that I'm using to make sure that I'm giving you guys good quality. I make sure that I do that every single time. I make sure that I invest in myself, because I don't want to waste money. And that drives me to be consistent. I don't care if it's just one person that's listening to my podcast. It counts. And I'm thankful. Because I don't want to be inconsistent anymore. I don't want to be a jack of all trades and master nothing. I want my children to see it differently, because they see it and they say, Mom, you started this, but you stopped. You started this, but you stopped. You had this business, but you stopped. I don't want them to see me as being inconsistent. I want them to see me striving and completing everything that I put my hands to. But it starts with me breaking that generational curse off of my life. Push yourself. I don't care how hard it is. If you know your dad wasn't in the picture and he was an absent father, then I need you to be in your son's life. Because you know what it feels like not to have a father around. You know what it feels like to be rejected. Stop making up excuses. Well, that's what my daddy did. That's what my mama did. That's what they did, but that's not what you have to do. Break the curse. Break the cycle. Break the behavior. Break the pattern. You do not have to live with this generational curse. You can speak life right now over your situation. You don't have to be broke all your life. You don't have to do that. We're choosing to do this. Generational curses do not have to be your portion. I want to thank everybody that has been listening. I'm so happy and excited that I made it to 10. That's good for me. Because I could have easily stopped. But I refuse to give up. I refuse to be inconsistent. I refuse to take this generational curse and put it on my daughters and put it on my sons. I don't know what your generational curse is. I don't know what your family is dealing with or what you're dealing with, but I'm telling you now, you can break that cycle. Your children don't have to experience it. You don't have to keep living with it. Break it off of you and break it off of your family. Take a good look around you and see who you're hanging around. See if you're picking up their habits and their behavior and their patterns. Because what you don't want to do is create a generational curse. Don't let people put stuff on you. Find a group of friends. Find a community with like minds. Find people who you can look up to, who you can learn from. Break the cycle and watch how your life begins to flourish. Complete the task. Talk to your children about the generational curses that is in your bloodline and begin to break it. Sickness and disease is not your portion. Poverty is not your portion. You will not go into 2024 hurt and broken, dealing with depression and anxiety, dealing with sicknesses and diseases, dealing with inconsistencies, dealing with not knowing how to manage money. That's generational curse. Write it out and then start breaking those curses off of you and your family and start speaking life. We go through so much on a daily basis. What we shouldn't go through or what we shouldn't be fighting is something that our parents fought and our parents' fought. Stop making excuses and just begin to break the cycle. Break the habit. You're not a drug addict. You're not a thief. You're not a thug. You're not a liar. I don't care what your parents were or your grandparents were. You don't have to be that. You can choose a different path. You can choose to live freely and not be bound. Generational curses will have you bound. I know from experience. This is your life. Start taking control over it. Your children won't have to take anxiety and depression medications because you had to. Break that cycle off of them. They will be successful. You will be successful. It's not too late. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep pressing. I love you guys. And I apologize that these haven't been on Monday nights, but we're starting back on Monday nights at 8 p.m. So I want you guys to tune in and join in. I love you guys, and I thank you for not judging me because I would never judge you. And remember that this is the Look Good, Feel Good, and Be Good podcast. So sometimes we got to talk about stuff that's going to make us look good, feel good, and be good. We got to break those generational curses so we can look good, feel good, and be good. And it's not just something that we're saying, it's something that we're living. I love you guys and have a great night.